President of Guta there, Dr. Joseph Obeng, one of the voices we heard from the press conference held by the Ghana Union of Traders Association this week was that of the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Sam Agri. He joins us on Zoom as we look at the impact of the city's decline on businesses. Thanks for joining us. Certainly great to speak with you this afternoon. How significantly have food and beverage manufacturers been impacted by the city's decline in value? All right, we can't hear you, Mr. Agri. You may have to unmute. Okay, waiting.
Hello,
please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you right now.
Okay, very well. Good afternoon once again. The situation on hand now seems to be a little bit dicey. And with the foreign exchange that government is starting that is coming $750 million, where most people are thinking that is coming for the business sector. That cannot be. This money is coming for infrastructures that has been tabled before Parliament, and therefore they need these finances to complete those projects. This is what is coming for. Now, government also made mention of bringing in $2 billion to shore up the depreciation of the city so that at least we can see a positive impact that the city will start or either stabilize or start regaining the strength. But I am of the view that if we have to get this money in the system, then what will happen is that government will then have to control, the Bank of Ghana will have to then control what is coming into the system so that this money does not end up in the black market. Because if you look at the trend of imports for the past 3 months, you can really look at your statistics and tell that import has really slowed down, not because of we are not getting dollars to buy what we have to buy. Others, if they really want to import, they also have financiers that they can easily take money from them to be able to at least do whatever import that they want to do. But unfortunately, if you are paying back, that is where you would then have to pay so much cedis in getting the dollars to pay back wherever you took that money from. And if it happens like that, I'm sorry, we cannot break even if it comes to making profits and all that. So the Bank of Ghana will really have to control the way the city itself is going to be spent, whether it's going to be used for imports and other things. Most especially, if you look at our manufacturing sector, most of these factories will have to import their raw material to feed into their facilities. When we are not getting the cities and the dollars to augment that, then it becomes very difficult. So if we are getting this money into the system, then of course we then have to look at the local manufacturers who have set up factories to ensure that the flow of raw materials does not become a problem for them. So these are the areas that government will really have to look at. Then if you look at the trading sector itself, what we are looking at is government to at least, for now, give us some remedy if it comes to taxation. Because we are paying so much taxes, and if you look at it as the city is also going up in line with this taxation, you ask yourself whether you are going to really make money for you even to raise up the salaries that you give to your employers and all that. So most of these businesses are considering shutting down or cutting down some of their expenditures and then also relieving some of the staff to go on a standby for some time that we're able to regain the strength to employ them back. And this is not what we want the system to look like. We really want the system to be flawless, and businesses should go on for employment also to come in. But unfortunately, what we are seeing in the past 3 weeks, if it continues, then certain measures will then have to be taken by industry. Because if we have to go up in pricing, then we have to look at it again. which will not be palatable to do. Very soon, we're going to publish exactly how much taxation that we are paying and how much is coming in for imports that we have to pay. Because all over the places and how much we are paying for imports alone is so huge. If you look at the West African zone, Ghana is the only country that is paying duty above 50%. If you put all together, we can't stand it. So, in fact, government would then have to sit down and look at some of the situations as they were. Otherwise, I'm sorry, most of these businesses would then have to close down and wait until such a time that businesses can really roll back and get into production. We don't want to get into that situation. Now, if you look at government's own borrowing, this is a time that most of this borrowing and then the inflows of the bills that were bought, interests are being paid during this time, and therefore government itself need the dollar so much that businesses cannot contend or compete with government. So we are all going into the same area of borrowing or harnessing this the little dollars that we have to pay back whatever government is intending to pay this foreign borrowing and all that. So if government does not take care and still want to borrow, these are things that we are going to face.
Okay.
And therefore, perhaps maybe what we can do is to either we go to the World Bank and the IMF or our creditors to tell them to suspend if for a year, so that at least we can spend the little dollar we have within our sector. Otherwise, we'll get the dollars and still government will then have to send it back to these creditors, which will not be the best to do.
All right. You have lowered expectations, as many critics have, of the coming in of the Afrexim bank loan and some other monies you're expecting, for instance, from the Cocoa Syndicated loan. And so I want to ask you also about this resolution reached at the meeting with the Council of State yesterday. You heard the Guta president talk about it. They are giving the government 1 month to fix the issues. And he talks about a committee to look into the issues, find solutions. Do you guys have 1 month to spare if the current challenges don't see any quick fixes in this 1 month?
You see, when government makes pronouncements, it really goes a long way to at least remedy certain situations that you would expect would have been the worst. And therefore, if government has any solution, they must quickly come out to announce that we are doing A, B, C, D to try and remedy the situation. But when you tell us that there is a solution or you know what is happening, and you are not announcing any specific measures to bring down what is happening, then of course we'll still go down that trend in ensuring that our businesses are protected in that way. But for Council of State to come out to say that they are going to meet us and ensure that certain things are done, we only hope that government will listen, whatever the outcome may be. Because when we take taxes and we expect that when there's a problem coming or if there's a problem that has developed, it's the same taxes that will go to remedy some of these situations. And therefore, we are paying to government, we expect that in times like this, certain measures will be taken to at least try to cushion the situation for a while. But if nothing is done and you still go back and demanding more taxes or more money through other avenues that importers or traders should pay, then it becomes a little bit of a problem, because you ask yourself, why am I paying the taxes and what am I getting in return?
Okay.
We don't want to see the roads and the hospital being built because we are borrowing to do that. But then the real money that we are paying, the internal revenues that workers are paying, if situation like this happens, what do government do to remedy the situation? We need to get certain announcements made for them to know that at least these things are being done, and therefore we expect something positive to come out from government. Otherwise, the confidence will be lost.
We are running out of time on this one, and so just 1 minute. We know that the trigger for the city's decline, or part of it, has been the high level of imports, and we import a lot of food and beverage, and usually the argument is that we don't have enough capacity locally to meet demand. And so while we look at short-term fixes, we have to look at long-term fixes as well. Do you buy into that argument that we do not have enough to meet local demand?
We really do not have. And if we need to have any positive call, then the onus lies on the finance minister and the government to ensure that we do not get into that frame. Now, if we are to tone down the import that we have, well, then we should have more industrial bases coming in. All these importers that are coming, some are importing billions of dollars in this area. And if we really want to do business with them, government can sit down with them and tell them, these are your imports, these are the things that you are importing over the year. And you look at the statistics. This is what I'm going to give you, the offer that I can give you, by bringing those machinery into this country and produce, so that the importer will know that, well, when I do the production local, these are the incentives that I'll get from government. But unfortunately, we are not getting all these things from government. That is why I've said some time back that government should meet the real importers of this country, those who are really spending the hard currency in importing, and give them a special offer, not the 1D1F. We should give them certain incentives that will entice them to at least bring down their production in this country so that we can generate the needed employment, save our hard-earned currency. And the Bank of Ghana should also try as much as possible to build up its bullion reserve, because these are some of the things that can really show up the city if it comes to strengthening our currency. We need to do something to at least to show that we can really do what we are doing. Otherwise, if it's as if we've thrown up our hands in despair, waiting for the miracle to happen. Government can do it, and our people in government really will have to sit up and think carefully.
Thank you so much. Sam Agri, Executive Director of FABAG, joining us with a look at how the city is impacting on the local food and beverage manufacturing industry. I appreciate your time with us. Thank you.